you have to have something to say. Now, we are all instantly connected all the time. We can, we've got emails, we've got BlackBerry, we've got phones, video phones. And I think because we're so busy communicating all the time, we have less time to think. Mass media today is dominated by large American corporations. So A.J. Liebling also famously said, America has freedom of the press for those who own one. And it's very apparent for anybody who travels in the rest of the world that a lot of what people go through in not even such remote areas of the world, I mean even in our own inner cities or in Appalachia or the Midwest, parts of the country which are not connected to the media centers. A lot of this experience is not being communicated, and because their experience isn't being communicated, they lose out. They lose out in all kinds of ways. They don't get the attention of governments. It's as if they are forgotten. I'm writing a book right now on immigrants in New York. Now, everyone and his dog has written about New York. There's endless numbers of New York books. But I'm still finding an incredible amount that's new in these immigrant lives. And it's because, immigrants don't have the kind of purchasing power that the people that mass media is more interested in. The advantage of the internet is that it allows you, if you have the search skills and if you have the inclination, to go into really in-depth into any kind of issue and find local sources that can round out what the corporate media tell you. So this wealth of information, is both a blessing and a curse. Newspapers are going through a tremendous transition, right? Because they're losing their classified advertising to places like Craigslist. The major newspapers are losing an enormous amount of money. So within the next 5 to 10 years, the newspaper, as we know it, the daily newspaper, will be totally unrecognizable. Most of it will be on the web, and the print content will be an adjunct to what's on the web. The advantage to having a package of news delivered to your doorstep every day is that someone's done the editing for you. Someone's, while you get to the specific article you want to read about, you also, your eyes caught by other articles that you may not think are of interest to you, but could be potentially useful. Now, that is not so with the web. The problem with the web is that it's tremendously selective. You can find exactly what you're looking for, and you can ignore everything else. So the disadvantage there is that America is already an atomized society, and it could lead to a much greater atomization of society. And the same thing with television, with the 500 channels or whatever we have. One thing that network television did was, in some sense, unify America. I mean, everybody sat down and watched Leave It to Beaver or whatever it is. Now people sit down and watch the Food Network or the Dog Network or it's incredibly specific to your specific cultural taste. It's a very complex issue, mass media, and I think that in recent years, in terms of conveying the news, American mass media has miserably failed the country in terms of conveying the truth about the war, for example. And now, the American media's, the newspaper editors have admitted to this, that they screwed up, that they were, in every sense of the way, embedded with the Pentagon. And it's up to a much more vigilant public. It's up to people like you who ran to the hospital before